So what I've taught you are 3 basic principles for making beads, and using these beads you can basically experiment as much as you want and make all sorts of different beads. You can do teeny weeny beads like this. If you're making very, very small beads like that, you don't have to be as accurate. You can literally cut yourself some little V-shapes like that and roll them up. You can also make, using this principle, which is just a straight bead, you can just use your normal quilling strips and make beads like this one here. It's quite flat. As long as you've got a hole in the middle, it's a bead and it's usable. You can pattern the paper before you roll your bead up, which works really well. That one's one as well. All I did, I got some felt tip pens and just scribbled on the paper or put dots on the paper before rolling it. That worked very well if you want to make your own pattern paper. This bead was made using pinking shears to cut, and then it was rolled up so it had a bit of a jaggedy edge. I thought that was quite a nice effect, but it does depend on the paper that you're using as well. I find that patterned paper with small patterns on works better than patterned paper with big patterns, because what you'll find is the bead will end up as only one colour sometimes if the pattern's so big. You can also do variations like this, where you take one bead. I think this bead itself, it has a straight bead as the first one. It then has a tapered bead wrapped around it. It's then got another straight bead but with thin paper, with paper that's not very wide, wrapped around that, and I've then manipulated the paper into a kind of flying saucer shape. So there's actually 3 types on top of each other. That's another example of 2 beads, one type with another type on top. And I'd also have a go, I really would have a go with trying as many different pattern papers as you can, and making your own pattern paper, because it is a lot of fun. The only other thing I need to tell you is that when you've done your beads, you need to make sure that they're as waterproof as you can get them. And the best way I've found for this is to cover them with clear nail varnish. What I do is thread up my beads before I put the nail varnish on, because I find it easier. So here I've made a bracelet, and I would then hold the bracelet, get my clear nail varnish and paint all over. You can just put it down and let it dry, it won't stick.